we were able to tackle quite a lot of issues because at the time frame I dealt with Wings Warriors, I was in New York City. And at that time, Eric Adams wasn't mayor. He was the Brooklyn Borough Hall president. But I would sit down with the local municipality government and say, hey, we need to help veterans who are at like stage 2 cancer or stage 3 cancer or very serious illnesses be able to bypass these gigantic backlogs. The hospitals are so bogged up with VA hospitals that they wouldn't be able to get the care that they needed right then and there. So we needed to open up the ability for those veterans to get outside of that VA system and into privatized healthcare and get seen immediately so that they can save their own lives. I think that the bureaucracy and the red tape is what really hurt it. And I think we saw a lot of headway there in New York City that allowed those veterans to leave the VA system and get out into the privatized healthcare system and get seen. And we were getting more referrals out. We tried to expand that across the United States, and I was fighting battles in places like San Antonio, Texas. I would have a veteran call me from Minnesota, like, what can you do to help me get outside of the VA system? We would go and we would battle hospital advocates and say, hey, let this person go. Let this person go see this specialist over here in another state. And we would hand walk that veteran through that process to go get seen. I would have really great conversations with congressional members, so Senate as well as House, on different processes that were taking place and really trying to help out commanders understand the difference between PTSD and TBI, how to properly diagnose it so that the service members weren't being kicked out of the military because it became nuisances. We had a huge problem that led to Tyson Baker taking the Secretary of the Navy to court back in 2018. I kind of helped out with that process a little bit, where a lot of service members who exhibited symptoms of PTSD that contributed to adverse actions or getting hit with the UCMJ, and then they would get kicked out of the military. Well, they weren't abiding by what the previous Secretary of Defense put in place, which was, Secretary Chuck Hagel put a memorandum in place that said that these service members needed to be screened for TBI or PTSD before getting kicked out of the military to see if that contributed to or was like the main contributor to their misconduct. The military was just kicking people out. They were like, oh, it's easier just to kick people out that had the PTSD and all this stuff. And Maker ended up winning that court case, by the way, and he ended up winning. And I would help out in the sense of the appellate court. So I would fight like the ABCMR, the NDRB and all that, and help veterans put together legal paperwork to fight for discharge upgrades or disability, retroactive disability, or awards that they thought they were supposed to get that wasn't given to them. And so that's where you'll see me, go down that route. Because I don't think there's a lot of people that understand it because it's a very complex realm. But once I learned how to navigate those processes, I was immediately sharing it with other veterans organizations as well as being one of the biggest champions for those veterans. And it didn't matter what era it was. I went all the way back to like Korea. I had a few World War II veterans as well, but I was out there fighting for thousands of different veterans to get what they needed. Yeah, that's the biggest significant transformation, was just seeing a bunch of advocates like me, just normal everyday advocates like me, just get out there and make that change in Wings Warriors.